many of you grew up like I did, not rich?
Did you know that the average American can't even cover a sudden $1,000 expense without going into debt? That's why in this video, let's learn from Dave Ramsey's best advice on how we can achieve financial freedom and become a millionaire through simple step-by-step instructions that anyone can follow. Watch until the end to learn how you can speed up the process and save yourself years of effort towards financial freedom. Step 1. Start young and work hard. Dave Ramsey's journey to his enormous wealth was certainly not an easy one. But the best thing about people with hard journeys is the wealth of knowledge and lessons they learned along the way. And Dave certainly practices what he preaches. At just 12 years old, Ramsey already understood the importance of a strong work ethic. Instead of wasting time waiting for opportunities to come knocking on his door, Dave would create opportunities for himself. This proactive approach to work is what sets the rich apart from everyone else in society. If you want to win the money game, you should start playing at an early age so you can make the most of your skills when you're old enough to get a job or start a business. Dave believes that the biggest advantage of starting a business, even if it's as simple as setting up a lemonade stand, is that it teaches you how to deal with failure. It's okay to fail because you can learn from your mistakes and then try again. Being able to handle failure is one of the most important skills for achieving financial success, especially for entrepreneurs. On top of this, when you start earning money at an early age, you learn the value of money, the importance of saving, and the satisfaction of being self-reliant so you don't always have to ask mommy and daddy to buy you things. These lessons might seem simple, but they compound over your lifetime and can be the difference between extreme poverty and tremendous wealth. Ramsey often talks about the dignity and purpose that work brings, because for him, work isn't just about making money, it's also about personal growth. So what does this mean for you? According to Dave Ramsey, if you're young, seize every opportunity to work and start earning your own money. Look for any job in your neighborhood that might be willing to hire you, and keep reaching out until you're hired. And if you're a bit more entrepreneurial, try looking for a gap in the market or learning an online skill so you can start your own business. If you need business ideas, I have the perfect one for complete beginners. If you have a smartphone and an internet connection, you can do it. Click the link in the description for more details. If you're a parent, encourage your kids to start working and earning their own money as soon as possible. The lessons they will learn and the habits they form around money will benefit them for the rest of their lives. There are also other hidden benefits to starting young, beyond personal development. The sooner you start saving and investing, the more you can enjoy the powerful effects of compound interest. According to Albert Einstein, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Now, whether he actually said that or not, what we can't deny is that compound interest is the key to building wealth over time, even if we start with a modest salary, since even tiny amounts of money saved and invested wisely can grow into a small fortune over a few decades. But what if you didn't start young? Don't worry. The best time to start may have been 20 years ago, but the second best time is now. You won't enjoy the same benefits as someone who started much sooner, but you'd be much better off starting now than giving up altogether. Step 2. Budgeting and planning.
Okay, so number one, when you do a budget, it is not a straitjacket. It is you telling you what to do. Okay, so it's a guardrail.
Everyone and their grandmother knows that budgeting your money is smart. It's just something you're supposed to do, like brushing your teeth. But even though we can easily understand the importance of brushing our teeth every day, budgeting might not feel all that necessary, at least not until we find ourselves deep in debt. Making a budget is the most important part of managing your money, regardless of how much or how little you earn. But especially when you're in the middle class or below, you have to be a bit more disciplined. According to Ramsey, every dollar you earn should have a purpose.
And the every dollar budget will do that for you.
This means that before the month even begins, you should know exactly where every dollar that hits your bank account will go. This is a proactive approach to managing your finances. But why is having a budget so important? The logic is actually quite simple. Most of us have a limited amount of money to work with. This is usually the paycheck we receive. So budgeting is all about making the most of our money so we can cover everything we absolutely need and hopefully have some left over for savings and investments. If our income is high enough, budgeting can also allow us to responsibly spend money on luxuries such as fancy dinners and vacations. Without a budget, it becomes really easy to mindlessly blow our money on things we don't need and bury ourselves in debt. According to Ramsey, we should think of each dollar as a soldier on a mission. Some dollars will be responsible for covering our rent, and others will go and work in the stock market to bring us more dollars. So how do you start budgeting? First, track your income and expenses. Understand where your money is coming from and where it's going. Then create categories for all your expenses, allocate a specific amount to each category, and, most importantly, stick to it. Dave Ramsey says personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% knowledge. This statement highlights that budgeting is more about behavior than complex financial knowledge. It's about having the discipline to stick to the plan you've set for yourself. This discipline is what separates those who achieve financial freedom from those who don't. But what if you've never budgeted before? Well, start small. Begin by tracking your expenses for a month to see where your money is going. Then create a simple budget for the next month. As you get more comfortable, refine your budget and make it more detailed by following Ramsey's advice and giving every dollar a name. This is how you can set yourself on a path to financial freedom and the possibility of becoming a millionaire by 2025. Step 3. Avoid and eliminate debt. If you know anything about Dave Ramsey, you know how much he hates debt. Even the kinds of debt that most financial experts consider good debt, such as a mortgage or student loans.
That risk is real, and that when you have debt, you are susceptible to getting your freaking head taken off. And
well, I agree.
Yeah.
My question, I guess, in regard to that,
so I consequently decided to be and live debt-free as the shortest path to becoming and staying wealthy.
While I don't fully agree with Dave's extreme views on debt, I do agree that getting out of debt is the most important thing you can do for your finances. So how do you start eliminating debt? The first step is to list all your debts from the smallest to the largest. Then you can use the debt repayment method that Dave Ramsey is a huge fan of. It's called the debt snowball method, and here's how it works. You start by paying off the smallest debt first while making minimum payments on the others. Once the small debt is paid off, move on to the next one and do this repeatedly until you're debt-free. This method not only helps in reducing debt, but also provides psychological wins because you feel really good seeing those little debts clear up. Personally, I prefer the debt avalanche method because it's actually the fastest way to pay down all your debt if you follow it properly. Just like the debt snowball method, you start by making the minimum payments for all your debt. But then with any extra money you have, you make payments starting with the debt with the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. Whichever method you choose, getting out of debt requires a plan and intentional effort. You won't become debt-free by accident. So here's what you need to do. Avoid taking on new debt and focus on paying off existing debts, using either the debt snowball or the debt avalanche method. Also cut unnecessary expenses and allocate any money you save towards debt repayment. But what if you have so much debt that it's overwhelming? In this case, start with small steps. Even small additional payments can make a big difference over time. And if you want to speed up the process, I would recommend adding another source of income on top of your job. Click the link in the description to learn about my favorite way to earn extra cash. Step 4. Build quality relationships.
First one is you got to do a budget. Second one is you got to get out of debt. Because if you don't have any payments, you got money. The third one is quality relationships. Now this is kind of weird, but think about it. Marriage is grand, divorce is 50 grand.
You already know why budgeting and avoiding debt are important, but did you know that bad relationships can get in the way of both of these habits? Let's start with romantic relationships since they have the largest impact. If your spouse is reckless with money, budgeting goes out the window, and avoiding debt can become nearly impossible. It's a domino effect, and a financially irresponsible spouse can do more damage than you can imagine. There are two key parts to the equation: during the marriage and after the marriage. If your spouse has a shopping addiction or lacks basic financial sense, you could find yourself deep in debt and struggling to get by. And if you decide to get a divorce between lawyers and accountants, you could lose more than half of your fortune before it gets split down the middle. But beyond your romantic partners, the friends you surround yourself with also have a huge impact on your money mindset and habits. That's why they say that your network is your net worth. Let me ask you a simple question. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Now, if you had to estimate what the average of all their income is, would you say it's close to your own personal income? I'm willing to bet that for most of you, it is. The influence of your social circle on your financial habits is deep, so surrounding yourself with people who have a healthy money mindset can significantly boost your journey towards wealth. Ramsey says if you hang out with broke people, you'll end up broke. So it's really important to expand your network to include people who are more financially savvy than you. Participate in workshops, online forums, and YouTube channels such as this one to gain access to the ideas and knowledge of others. And if you find yourself to be the most financially responsible person in your circle, then you have the opportunity to lead by example, share your knowledge, and inspire others. Step 5. Save and invest wisely. After talking about how important it is to start saving early, making a budget, staying out of debt, and building good relationships, we now come to the 5th and most important step in Dave Ramsey's guide: saving and investing wisely. This step is essential for anyone aiming to become a millionaire by 2025. Let's talk about how smart investing and saving can help you get to financial freedom faster. Saving is not just about putting money aside. It's about preparing for the future and creating opportunities for your wealth to grow. But saving alone isn't enough. Whether you invest in stocks or your own business, investing is absolutely essential if you want to achieve financial freedom. Ramsey suggests starting with a small, consistent investment in low-risk investments like index funds, after maxing out your Roth IRAs. These investments can grow significantly over time, thanks to the power of compound interest. So, how do you start? Begin by setting aside a portion of your income for savings and investments. Create a separate emergency fund, and once you top it up, focus on long-term investment goals. I have a unique formula for determining how much money you should have in your emergency fund. Here's my formula. Number 1. Determine how long it would take you to get another similar paying job if you lost your current job. Number 2, your emergency fund should cover whichever is greater, 6 months or your answer from number 1. So for example, if you expected to take about 10 months to find another job if you get fired, then you should have an emergency fund that lasts at least 10 months, since 10 is greater than 6. But if it would take only 3 months to replace your job, build an emergency fund with at least 6 months worth of expenses. For investments, in my opinion, you really can't go wrong with low-cost index funds such as the S&P 500. But be sure to educate yourself about different investment options and seek advice from financial advisors if necessary. Do you want to speed up your journey towards wealth? I recently discovered a secret business model that 99% of people have never even heard of. Click the link in the description to learn more.